man in his late 20s stands behind the counter, inspecting a stuffed seabird. As you approach, he gives you a sideways glance. Everything is cool between you and this guy. He's a big fan. Make some small talk. A competent work of taxidermy. The white and brown seabird lies among piles of coasters and drying mugs. One of its wings broken. The man is trying to mend it. Looks like the bird was ripped off the shield that was used to mount it, most likely on a wall. This is the great skua. The seabird is the symbol for the discovery of the Insulindian Isola, the part of the world you are in right now. The small steel tag says as much. The great skua, Stegosaurus skua.
Look, your buddy is over there. Why don't you go and talk to him, okay?
He pretends not to hear you, concentrating on the bird instead.
No, I'm not the bartender.
He's very animated all of a sudden. This seems like a touchy subject.
I have 3 cafeterias to manage. 3. Sylvie tends the bar here, not me. She just, you know.
His eyes dart from left to right. This man isn't lying, but he is hiding something.
So now you're a cop. Oh, forget it.
Hello, sweetie. You shouldn't keep your colleague waiting.
A colorful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. Makes your fingers itch. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine. The man does not mind. You probably need them more than he does.
You've just picked up some magnesium. This item is stored in the bottom left corner of the screen above your character portrait. Use magnesium to heal your morale if you have morale damage.
It's a dock worker's ID, doubling as a shift card and a job permit. A young, able-bodied man stares back at you from the photo. Santiago S. John. Your fingers find their way into the shackle, flicking open its spring-loaded gate. The metal loop. The man emits a loud snore. Is he about to wake up? Doesn't look like it, but you never know. Better be quick. You slip the plastic ID card out of the loop and pocket it. The man can, just for the record, you look nothing like the man on the document. You find a black paper note with a woman's profile on it. Seems like this woman lived centuries ago. The note says, 5, Ria. The sleeping dock worker has little to say about your actions. He remains. You gently shake his shoulder, but nothing happens. This man could probably sleep soundly in a ship's engine room. That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? Sweet Lord, a whole hour. And you haven't thought about rum and lemonade in all that time? You've truly extinguished all trace of yourself. Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade into yourself, boy. Or better yet, what happened, man? You used to be cool. Go get your boring normal person, get your drink on and your act together. The theme on that pinball machine is a standard royalist theme, used on everything from pinball cabinets to clinging to a picture book version of the past century, waiting for the king to come back and cast out all the profiteers and homosexuals. Basically, imagine a yellow plastic crown with a liquor brand emblazoned on it. It comes free with a six-pack of Vermilion Roy d'Or. The words Roy d'Or, the sentiment is called anti-centennial nostalgia, pining for a time before the turn of the century. A bespectacled man in an orange bomber jacket is tapping his foot on the floor. Looks like he's waiting for... As you approach, he narrows his eyes, and on the sleeve of his bomber jacket, as well as on its back, are the same enigmatic white rectangles as on your blazer.
Hello, I'm Kim Kitsuragi, Lieutenant, Precinct 57. You must be from the 41st.
You realize he's waiting for your name. Concentration makes you squint your eyes. Your name should be deep gold and orange, like a forest fire looming on the horizon. but mixed with the stench of liquor rising from your breath. You're 2 steps closer to it, but there are still many to go.
Okay then. It looks like we had a little scheduling error on Sunday.
What he means is, he has been trying to meet up with you for 2 days, but you have been otherwise occupied.
If you don't mind, we should talk to him again. Ask him for a rundown of the area. Now that I'm here as well. It also wouldn't hurt to assure him the police are finally here. In full force, I mean. Have you mapped out the initial interviews? Good. But even if you haven't, we'll have time for that after we have you removed the dead body from the tree. So, the body is where it has been hanging for 7 days straight. We should go there as soon as we are done talking to the owner. I was sent here to meet a detective from Precinct 41. You have the insignia of the citizens' militia on your sleeve and on your back. I suppose you could be impersonating him. You could have gotten the insignia from the black market or forged it.
Inspectorate General means internal affairs. What he's saying is, he's not from the rat squad and isn't supposed to suspect.
No need for derogatory terms. They're only doing their job. Yes. They're not just white rectangles. They bear a halogen watermark with the letters RCM and a pattern resembling. I would ask you to step into the headlights of my motor carriage. But again, it's none of my concern. I just need you to do your job. You mean you don't have a badge? Losing your identification card is a serious matter. My vehicle has a shortwave. You can use it to report your badge missing. I would advise you to locate it as quickly as possible. But getting the body down should still take precedence. We all feel that way sometimes. There is no such thing as a police officer, I'm afraid. What remains is that there is a dead body in the tree.
And then, soon after, dead bodies would be dangling from all the trees.
But first, we have to take it down. After you, officer.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is now in your party. You can talk to him whenever by interacting with him.
The man with the unimpressive beard notices you approaching. He drops the ledger.
Mr. Gart, right? You run this place.
Yes.
I am Kim Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. This is an inter-district investigation, so joining me from Precinct 41...
No, you cannot.
Officer, I was thinking more along the lines of your name.
Fantastic.
Right. Now, I know it took us a while to arrive at the scene. It also...
No, I only just got here. It was probably Sylvie who called you.
Do you have her number?
As a matter of fact, I do.
This sounds like something you can use to call this Sylvie later.
You said you just got here. From where? Are you a local?
What, of Martinez? No, I live in Jamrock. I only sometimes come here to keep an eye on the...
But you still know your way around, yes? In case we need that...
Yes, I know where some things are, but as I said, I don't live here.
I didn't imply that. Detective...
He probably means this is where you step in and ask your questions. His face expresses profound doubt in your. Ask him about the body's location before asking if he killed him. People give up information in the more innocuous questions, which you can later use in the more sinister ones, not vice versa.
Behind this building, there's a courtyard. They hoisted him up on a tree there. That's easy. See that door there? First you exit through that. Then, to your right, you should see a big hole in the fence. A really big one. You can get to the courtyard through there. No need for the key.
This man means the heavy cavalry of the innocents Franco Negro, sweeping over the plains and nations of the enemies of mankind. 5th century style. Unified currency and the concept of cool came in their wake. They wore lamella and carried guns. But first and foremost,
behind this building, there's a courtyard. That's easy. See that door?
This man means the heavy cavalry of the innocents.
Haven't you asked me that already? What is it with you and this woman? She has nothing to do with this. Okay, you got me. She went away because of the dead body out back. And because I asked for her number. That's why Sylvie went away. I hope you appreciate that.
Thank you.
I asked an employee out. She didn't want to come, but felt obliged to. It was a bad idea. Now, what is so goddamn fascinating about that for you? It's got nothing to do with the lynching. Good for you. Was there something else? I'd like to get back to what I was doing. I don't know who killed him. I'm not the police.
This is it. He said they hoisted him up on a tree. Who is this they, if he doesn't know?
Oh, people are saying it was the union dock workers, that it was a lynching. The locals, the customers, the people who eat here, a lot of dock workers eat.
Did the debarders themselves tell her this, or is...
I don't really know. You'll have to ask her. I would suppose it's because they have nothing better to do.
You mean the strike?
Yes, the strike. The man they hanged was a security guard for the harbour company, I hear. A mercenary. The unionistas probably thought they'd send a message.
The lieutenant turns the page in the little notebook he's been scribbling in.
Let's go.
Not so fast. You owe me 130 real. Oh, excuse me. You owe me 130 real.
The IIR, or Inter-Isolary Real, is the global reserve currency. Whatever part of the world you're in right now, it's safe to assume he means...
No, you don't owe me street cred. You owe me money. You owe this establishment 130 real. Let's see. 3 nights at a tariff of 20 real comes to 60 real. Then there's the window you annihilated. The hole in the... Another thing you've annihilated is half the bar. You've run a tab of 30 real. Actually, more, but we'll round it down to 30 for your hard work maintaining the stability and order of... What are you, a philosopher? Money is what grown-up people use to pay for things. Things like this hostel room, or 8 bottles of potent blend, and 9 packs of Royal Extra. We use it for everything, really.
There's a shuffle of nylon as Lieutenant Kitsuragi looks for something in the pockets of his orange bomber.
I'm sorry, but he has to pay. I can't let him stay here any longer if he doesn't. If he doesn't have the money by tonight...
Officer, maybe you're better off working this from home for now. You live in Jamrock, right? It's not that far away. No, don't. There's no need. You really need to take this up with your station. I have a shortwave radio in my car.
Good luck.
By the way, where is home? The address is coming up blank, and this place sure isn't it. But you've been at this hostel cafeteria for only 3 nights. Well, you don't really know, do you? South, maybe, doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money. Entertain the thought when you get the time. Maybe being a hobo and a cop has its advantage.
Yes? Excuse me? Detective, if I may be frank, you seem to be in a deranged state. You have trouble remembering things. You've misplaced
The RCM, or the Revachol Citizen Militia, is the police force you and him are part of. A self-organized peace corps of the occupied city of Revachol. The RCM...
That's good. That's good. Some you time? This is a police investigation, not a journey of self-discovery. You'll still have your... Please do. We wouldn't want your regiment...
The lieutenant is pretty sure self-care is just a euphemism for nihilistic binge.
Yes?
The RCM in Martinez. What can I help you with? We don't see a lot of police around here. That's of course. What can I help you with? Excuse me? Oh, well, I didn't write it there. Okay. Me? I am just a gardener. I am pleased to meet you too, officer. Since the street sign's messed up? Oh, that's right.
Even all the way over here, there's a drop of death in the spring air.
What do you mean? Yes, sir. District of Martinez.
He knows where we are. He just wants directions.
No problem. Of course.
If there's a corpse, then you're going to need those gloves for the autopsy.
Sure, keep them. I have another pair.
old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling-in rags. This is point A. The driver started and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
You are correct. This is a rather motor carriage-friendly city. I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez.
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time.
Kuno's got this!
If there ever was such a thing as an ugly kid, then this is it. He's almost...
Oh yeah! Nappa Gumpy, Kuno! Right in the dick, Kuno! Get him right in the dick!
Love it in the dick!
The boy is sweating profusely. His eyes are like two black holes and his jaw is twitching as if trying to break free from the empire of his body. The kid is obviously high.
Fuck that! Kuno, yeah! Right in the mouthhole!
Shits himself?
The rake, Kuno! You should throw the...
The fuck? Does Kuno know what a rake is? Kuno's not a gardener.
We shouldn't do anything. I don't... You will see.
The language these kids are using, pure unfettered id. There will be no reasoning with those creatures.
The fuck are you talking?
He's calling us Kuno! He says we're fucking each other!
Fuck no! Kuno doesn't buy that shit.
Fast. This kid has got street smarts.
Alright, entertain the Kuno. Show me what you got. What you got there? What you got, huh? Show me what you got.
The kid moves his hands like a basketball player dribbling fast.
Kuno's Kuno, pig?
It's always Kuno, never I. Clearly the kid's using the third-person perspective as a shield.
Kuno doesn't do that smart shit. Don't throw that bullshit at Kuno. Kuno trying to get Kuno hooked.
Watch out, Kuno! He's trying to fiddle you! He's gonna put his hands on you! Help! Pig's got Kuno! Help! Rape!
Help! He's got the Kuno, help!
Everyone can hear. You need to get the hell out of here before.
Everybody!
Escalate, Kuno! His dick is...
Pigs in here, Kuno! Somebody, please!
How did we get here? How did this happen? This makes no sense. There may still be a way out. Just appeal to his reason.
No!
The nearly psychopathic way they could slip in and out of the act implies you're not the first victim.
Fucking logical! Help! The logical pig is fiddling Kuno! No one? Kuno's doing this because he likes it, pig.
Help! The pig's gagging him! Kuno can't speak!
You put him up to this yourself when you decided to talk to him in the first.
Listen to your friend. Kuno owns the fat ass. Help! The RCM is trying to fuck Kuno! Help! Misters, help! He's flashing Kuno! He's showing his genitals! If you don't help Kuno now, it'll be too late! Look.
For emphasis, a ghost is saying this. A shit-eating psychopath.
I know you wanted to hit me. You got that, I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up, look. The Kuno...
Relax. He can't read your mind. There's a dead body, remember? That's what you were doing here. You're a cop on a case.
I know what you thought. I'm gonna fuck that Kuno up. I'm gonna shut that shit down. You're nothing. You're a joke to Kuno. Kuno laughs at you.
Kuno turned you into his prison, bitch! You're gonna be in this shit with...
No, you're not. We can just leave.
Bitch, you're gonna be in this shit with Kuno forever!
A peepo is a type of hat, by the way.
Talk to me about my fucking peeper. You don't know where I come from. You just Kuno's bottom bitch.
Okay. Kuno is kind to his bitch. Ask your questions, but remember...
Click, 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 click!
Shitload, pig. What's your question?
Don't tell the pig shit, Kuno.
This is where you quickly ask him questions. Real cop questions. Like a cop.
Probably climbed. Kuno was busy down the road when that shit went down. You heard Kuno. Kuno wasn't even in Martinez. Kuno wasn't in Revachol. Kuno wasn't, I don't know, some fucking Mesk or I don't know, some other place.
There is no Night City anywhere. That sounds like the name of a city in some pulp science fiction novel.
Why you gotta be riding Kuno's ass? You haven't been where Kuno's been. You haven't been in Kuno's head. You want to know where Kuno was? You want to know what Kuno's been
Don't tell him that, Kuno.
It's not fucking lame. Kuno's building Kuno's City. Night City.
Lame.
That's the name of Kuno's City, bitch. Get the fuck off Kuno's back.
It's impossible to deduce what it is about, at least for the moment. If it's important, it'll come up later. Focus on the case.
Kuno's fuck imp. Kuno uses the fuck imp for target practice.
He's trying to hide the fact that he doesn't know.
Kuno knows all kinds of shit. Kuno's not a snitch, that's all. Trying to make the Kuno sing into the popo phone. Just a couple of pigs sniffing around in the dirt.
Yeah, you tell the faggoty Kuno.
You're testing Kuno's...
Get lost,
Right, pig? This is where Kuno plays with his little wooden choo-choo. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't...
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in, just a trash container. There is no such thing. Your fingers start to itch just looking at that padlock.
We could try using a pry bar. There's one in my motor carriage, or we could ask for a key from the manager of the Whirling in Rags. He probably has one.
He might also have information. This is better than the pry bar idea. The corpse looks at you with bulging white eyes. The face around them does not look human. It's swollen. You seem to be holding your breath. A cargo belt twists his neck at an unnatural angle. The body below appears stiff. It's letting out an ungodly rot. The smell seeps in even through your clenched nostrils.
Active decay. It's okay to throw up, officer. No one is judging.
He's about to blow. Cock's gonna blow, Kuno.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. It's nothing. Someone just left some roofing material slanted against. I'm glad you asked. When junior researcher Olari Tal invented Eternite in the Vartna Polytechnic Institute some 30-odd years ago, he thought it would last forever. Hence the name, Eternite. Sadly, the only lasting thing turned out to be because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're two. There it is. You see a shabby little door.
What is this, then? A tool shed? Let's investigate.
Be still, my beating heart. It's amphetamine, sweet amphetamine. The lieutenant isn't studying the powder. in the mirror. There's a good vague way to ask where he stands on drug use. Professionally, I mean.
Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. However, see that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor, no?
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day. The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for it, well, it doesn't seem too dangerous. 2 meter stops?
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets made? The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance. Over. That machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
Is it? Kvalsund makes a lot of heavy equipment, but this is phenomenal, even for them. But I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here. What are we doing? We're awfully close to breaking into the industrial harbor. Or it could be that we are just exploring.
As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous with the concrete pavement below. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood... As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you felt...
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least...
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harbor rushes back in. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to..." On second glance, someone has forgotten to...
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside, hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kura. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own will... Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing. You are a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way by turning your attention to something and not letting go.
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there? Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. It appears to be a to-do list written in large... Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably, the head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing in...
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. Remember, Leo, all items on the list, the drawer, slide. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up the handset. This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather. You need to rest. Your body is aching. Getting in here has taken something out of you.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulous. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed.
Why did you take that? Fine, but let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat. Secured, stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, profits. Don't think about that. Quick, think about something else. The imagined dazzle of light overwhelms any list of potential side effects. Any negative thoughts are drowned out. You stand and exit the... rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête. Marche. On. Arrête. With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. With a surprising... The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, moving this container, of course.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers. Except for seeing the crane in action, which...
Before you, stands a cargo container. Just one of many.
You do? Because I don't. There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? You just picked one out because you wanted to interact. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to talk to the...
You attempt to turn the handle. To Noah, to your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container. Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because what wasn't an option? Now is not the time to get philosophical, detective. You can do that after hours.
Container, I'll turn you nice and red.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the Vanishing Peninsula.
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard. Everard, he looks after everyone. Huh? I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you? I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister. Oh yes, born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new people say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from.
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes I am, So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers as you glance around with similar childlike wonder.
Sure is, mister. Sure is. Really livens up the place. Yes, it...
I hate to break this bonding moment, but the red containers mean they are replacing the company livery with the union livery, which means this strike isn't gonna stop anytime soon.
Oh, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done. Yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh, Sure, mister. Sure. You do.
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of
Told you.
Oh, you want Mr. Everard then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everard is where he always is. In his office, of course. Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to...
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, but Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so. Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them... I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this under hard ease.
Look at him. It's not going to be anything useful anyway. Don't fight it. Better to go with the flow. Too late. Leo's mouth is still moving, and the words are spewing forth. Words, words, and now he's talking about some drunk sawmill owner who... No, he already switched to a prized fish...
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellet. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town, and Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once, but I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here, and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, Lizzie. She is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy...
He respects that word. That's obvious.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows everybody, and if me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she... Dr. Lemaitre said so. And she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost...
So Everett trained a lawyer named Miss Beaufort. Interesting. You see disdain in the lieutenant's dark eyes when they meet yours for a moment. He does not approve of you.
Oh, mister. I do a lot more than that. I really do most everything around here. Mr. Everett said many times I'm irreplaceable. Bye-bye now.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work. With great effort, he straightens himself up with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everett Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me...
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me at eye level. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation.
You're no Titan of Elysium, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
By the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Is there anything you'd like to say to me? Or... Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union...
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitation. Oh God, why didn't you think of this before? Cops have guns. Where's yours? Fuck love. This is your gun. This is...
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you?
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right?
Fuck me? Please leave the rage you have for after.
Nothing you can say would make you... Cop gives up the detective genre for social realism. Another police officer resigned from the RCM following a nervous breakdown. He now lives under a bridge, drinking and occasionally throwing excrement at passers-by, shouting, "I never loved that woman." When asked to comment, Former colleagues objected to the theory that before you is with a mixture of expectation.
Welcome, Mr. I'd offer you my hand.
He looks extremely comfortable.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store, forget about that. What's with this?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a... Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with... I, too. Should you find...
You're no Titan affiliation, buddy. Rusting control panel. The crane does not return to its original position. It does no screech of...
Yes?
No response. He's having trouble processing it, believing it even.
Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs? Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an hour. Try work. The case at hand. It's not a fan.
The RCM deploys a self-styled structure called the Decomptage as its chain of command. Every lieutenant is responsible for 2 sergeants and 8 officers. That means the average lieutenant...
Really? You look fine to me. This psychodrama is ambiguous.
Clearly, he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively...
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted? Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know? That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this. But you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome. That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical...
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolari state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say mysterious.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've...
A point of pride to him.
No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. It's like you're locked down.
Something the matter, detective?
What's going on? It's like you're a puppet in his hands. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you...
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
What? Think?
The lieutenant produces his small... We all have our different medium.
Good. Let's change the subject. What do you want to know? No. It's not a particularly mysterious case. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that. There was some interest in this case at my station, but not for the reasons you have in mind. You seem to wish there was... Excellent. Was there anything else? I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing... You don't know? I assumed you were in on it. Better still than an imbecile cop-off. It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Later. Was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? Good.
The already familiar cold touch of plastic. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the calling. Calling. Still calling.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here. No. Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? If you need any further assistance, you can visit us on the corner of Voyager and Main. I can't help you over the phone. Are we done?
The call is terminated. The payphone hangs mutely.
Mr. Dubois, I hope time is on your side. Please, Mr.
It's nothing. Yes.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I, too, Should you find yourself...
You're no Titan of Elysium, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man and reasonable men, so tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most...
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your...
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Okay, okay. I respect a man with principle. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about...
His slug-like lips move, but the world is swallowed by a black... Oh, God. Why didn't you think of this before? Cops? Fuck love.
Are you all right, Harry? You see, it's not like you left it loaded.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Officer.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Who does this guy think you are? Ronnie the Rookie? You ain't worried about no lost gun, or unpaid bill, or forgotten name. You're the bad cop. You're probably more corrupt than him. The fat man does the same, sinking deeper into his chair. Good. Now lean in with some corruption.
That we do, Harry. Let them say what they will about you and me. We're both born fighters. Why, thank you. It's always nice when a...
That's it. Now kick back and add a final flourish for dignity.
You strike me as a reasonable man, Harry. I like that in a lawman.
I think we'd like to ask you a few questions. Don't you think so, Detective?
Somehow you managed to get yourself out of this one. Now quick, whatever you do, don't ask him about the gun first. You don't want him thinking you're scared.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly...
Yes, that sounds good. Let's...
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really...
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards your own.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me... You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker, too. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are... You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one...
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't care either.
Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry. My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction...
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory...
Words flow like a river of hunt. I guess word has already reached it. It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost...
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
It's Harry. Harry Dubois. And I can work with you, Harry. Now, but of course, Harry, your precinct is the 41st and you live in Jamrock.
He doesn't really seem to know any more about it.
Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're... Well, yes. I'm sure you're going to make one little boy or a girl very happy and proud one day, Harry. It says... Oh, yes. Very interesting. It says you're more like a mad prophet than a cop. Always rambling about the end of the world. I'm sure these stories are exaggerated. I know that, Harry. I know...
He's probably just making a guess based on your recent activity in Martinez.
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
This translates into... Haha, you guys are so...
I find that very suspicious.
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those.
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your action.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi, from the Census Bureau. Like I said, now I'm actually a very busy man. So is there anything else I can do for you, Harry?
That means he doesn't really know anything about you. A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age... You did look like you were gonna collapse and die when I told you about your... Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance... Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care.
Before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened. You attempt to your left. The lieutenant considers your actions. with some
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the Wild North? Come to see the strife? The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to, you know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though. Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though. I'm always glad to help out when possible. Not like these slithering scabs. A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open? Oh, say no more. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. I'm not so sure about the hustle grind, but... You know, it doesn't matter. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the Whirling in Rags. That's all I know. Our organization...
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are.
He means he's not going to tell you, cause he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that you're working for Everard.
We're negotiating our share. Aye. All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the...
This seditious talk sounds like communism. Just so we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people, or...
No. I don't think I'm a communist. Seeing something of value and saying I want it, even a weak child can think it. The only things holding someone back are I can't and I shouldn't. Just the way the world works, boyadero. I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals...
By that, you mean corrupt?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? The old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it, even. He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative... Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway.
This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today.
Sure thing.
This was great. There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Maybe more than 12. No, 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back. 1. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toe. 2. Standard work boot. 3. Hobnailed work. 4. Standard work boot. Number 4. You don't know. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart. 5. Another standard work boot. 6. An aberration, light as air. Impossible to tell. Could also have been an adolescent. You're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens. Everything else has a thin film. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. 8. And yet another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however.
How many? I was pretty off then. I counted 20. I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? A woman or a kid? Understood. Anything else? 200? Could it be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying...
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Possibly, yes.
But why?
Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or just march him up to the gallows. Even easier to carry on a stretcher, or between 2 men. Anyway, it's for future consideration. What else can you see? Interesting. Let's name it the odd soul. Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer? No, it's not. Forget I said it. We are not... Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
He doesn't seem to hear you. Looking south, toward the traffic jam.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame.
It is not impossible.
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Ravachol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the...
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed. They all stood... Yes, everything fits so well. Carried him over, hoisted him up, watched him at... The lieutenant's eyes narrowed.
Either way. What else?
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is in... The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you'd expected. More fever than... You feel a great force ringing from your stomach. Your body curls and pushes it until a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat. The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool. Among it, distilled spirit and bits of shish kebab.
Keep it. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. If you can handle the headache, some officers use it to deal with cadaverine odor. I can't handle the headache. There is freight nearby, east of the hostel. They usually have a small... There's a greenhouse here, and a gardener with a wheelbarrow on the corner of the whirling in rags. If she were...
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
I can't believe it's snowing again. It felt like springtime just a few days ago. Sure, I'm done with it. Go easy on that stuff. It gave me...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now. The ammonia only makes it worse. The second time, not so much. When the vomiting is done, your cheeks are wet with tears.
Nor does the wind right now. I've seen strong men turn themselves inside out for hours. You are facing tough odds here. Alcohol withdrawal makes it considerably harder. I've seen captains puke their guts out. It never gets easier. You never get used to the smell. Every Monday is cadaver day. Then drive to the station. Maybe throw up on the way there, if you didn't bag the thing tight. I think I've lost my sense of smell.
A white lie.
Not being hungover helps too. Okay, you've said it. You needed to say it. And now you need to get your shit together. We should go talk to the locals. Find something else to do while the wind changes. It's pretty bad right now.
You've gained a thought. When this dialogue is over, go to your thought cabinet and...
Give it half an hour. Get yourself together. Then come back and have another go.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. It's painted blue. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. Old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. It leads to a side building. adjacent to this one. The old building next to this. The door does not budge.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why?
The winch. Outside. In the backyard. Remember? No?
Well, if there was a winch...
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
It's hardly worth a title. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Quebec. The man puts his cup down and replies something. His left, he looks up at you, then looks away. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door. The mention of mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words. The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his, and then I'm pretty sure he asks. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Boss need more vodka?
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. The cook gives you a long, inspecting look, then shrugs too, and seems to wait for you.
Can I help you? Mine? No, it belongs to the word.
Thank you for clearing that up. Why do you...
Why? To keep the hobos and drunks out. That's why.
I thought as much. And are you the only part?
Well, yes.
It seems a little callous, doesn't it? Something stirs in you. Prod at him and find out.
What do you need them for?
It concerns the case. Please cooperate.
Just bring them back once you're done, please. Absolutely out.
Absolutely in the question. First we find a sad back. Your body is ready, sire.
What thing? Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about... No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of...
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not...
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about what... So, I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though. After the animals. Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get...
There are these things called days. You sleep between them. He's saying they'll come after.
What?
By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything. This trash container is locked with a well-oiled crack. The lock don't. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't. Of course you should. This is your time to shine, Hobo Cop. Dive into that dump. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
Wow, an Armistice caliber 50 knock cannon. Half wrapped in paper tissues. So shiny. It's a giant rifle, and it's very expensive. Not as expensive as that. And is that Cordon Electric's preamp with Electra F2 tubes? It is. That catches quite a price. We're talking 12,000. Easy. Unless that's too bad, because none of those things are actually in there. There's just food waste. All you see is a broken mug with a racist depiction of the Yellow Man frolicking in saffron. Only in its social sensibility.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the Interact tab in your...
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some past... You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows. The methodology in your... No. Searching for evidence. Good practice for dumpster diving. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below. And turbo noodles. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty. Or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The belt is missing. That's it.
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's...
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and his establishment had the key.
The fuck's he on about, kids? You hear that, Kuno?
See?
The lieutenant nods. Then it's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hand. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out four.
Officer, is that your paperwork? Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form. If you don't mind me asking, how did this get in the trash? Well, lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure some has not made it into the hands of the RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and the like. It will also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Anyway, where were we?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory.
The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel from the sides of his head, because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct you. After rifling the pages with your thumb, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments. Kunst und Kult, comrade. As you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's, but like the structures of only 4 issues in, and it sounds like. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the debarders.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between. You also skip over an art. Whoa. Bear wrestling. It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the people's. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionate, of course not. The article makes plain that this is man on bear. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has. This is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to. What are you, a statistician? Did the moral intern send you on a fact-finding mission?
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask? They're quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front row on account of the blood.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of content.